In today's video, we're going to have a taste of some very fine writing instruments. The Art of Italian Guilloche from Leonardo Officina Italiana. Super excited to be back with another fountain pen review. Welcome, it is your host Amy from Penventure, and in today's video we're going to have a look at something which I believe it's a little bit underrated from Leonardo Officina Italiana. It is called the Art of Guilloche Collection. It is composed of 3 different colors, and each specific color brings an unique, different guilloche technique. And as always with the Penventure reviews, we're going to have a look at the details, then we're going to have a side-by-side size comparison, writing sample, and in the end I'm going to showcase some of my personal opinions regarding this fountain pen collection, and also I'm going to tell you why I think it's a little bit underrated from the other ones from Leonardo Officina Italiana. When it comes to Italian writing instruments, there is a lot of talk regarding Leonardo Officina Italiana because I believe they are fresh, they are interesting, and for the past 7 or so years they come up with hit after hit after hit with every single collection, with every single fountain pen, and they brought so many good things. They simply revived the Italian scenery in regards to writing instruments, and I believe this collection brings the very best qualities of Leonardo Officina Italiana, and I don't know why it's so underrated. But anyway, we're going to discover it together with every single aspect regarding this writing instruments in this video. And as always with our reviews, let's start with the customer experience. What do you get when you are in for a Momento Grande 2.0 Guilloche, or better said, the Art of Guilloche from Leonardo Officina Italiana? Once you get in the shipping box, you're going to find something like this: the Art of Italian Guilloche Momento Grande 2.0. Let's get inside, open the clamshell lid, and right here you have the warranty and care guide, and then you have something like this inside, which is the fountain pen itself. And I'm going to introduce you to all 3 colors of this collection and the available trim colors as well. And what we have here are the following colors slash the guilloche that you find on each individual color, but we're going to get to sampling each of this guilloche pattern individually in just a few moments. And we have right here Ondona, which is the guilloche pattern slash iris blue as a color. Then we go forward with Spigato slash indigo color, and then we go forward with Torcon slash Verde Gris. The dilemma: which one should I base my review on? Each individual color is so good, but I'm gonna base my review on this indigo one, which I believe it's a stunning color. Trust me, if you see this in person, you will understand. Huge fan as well for the ruthenium trims, so let's stick with the ruthenium trim. Guilloche, it's a decorative technique originating from the 18th century, and it's composed of carving into the surface of a specific item that you want to decorate very precise geometrical patterns and designs, which are most of the times repetitive, and they form something of like a visual effect which catches the light when you turn each individual time that object, and in our case that specific fountain pen is going to capture the light very subtle, very beautiful, and the actual repetitive factor of the symmetrical geometric design is going to be very appealing to the eye. It's going to bring a new sense into play, to say so, because you actually can feel the surface, which is not plain. Now it's 3D. As much of our senses that we can recruit in grasping a specific writing instrument, like I want to see it, then I want to feel it, then I want to have it capture the light, then I want to touch it and to feel all of those patterns which come together to form like a universal picture for a specific writing instrument, for me as a user, as a lover, as a collector of writing instruments. So now that you understand what's guilloche as a technique, let's dive and let's analyze each specific writing instrument slash color, and I'm going to show you the guilloche pattern, to say so, for each color. Here we have iris blue and the guilloche pattern is called ondona. It is described as being the rhythmic motion of the sea waves which are kissed by the wind. Color is described as being the deep blue ocean. It is not disappointing at all. Look at how nicely the light is just simply bouncing from those ridges that are formed by the guilloche pattern. Before going into my favorite color, let me know if you find my content useful, and if you do so, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. This will help me a lot with the YouTube algorithm and everything else. And let's continue with the next color slash guilloche pattern. Here we have indigo slash spigato for the guilloche pattern. It is available in rose gold color trim and ruthenium black trim, and it is described as taking us to the endless air fields that are undulating in the spring afternoon. And have a look at the fine details of that guilloche pattern. It is mesmerizing, elegant. It is not too much, undulating like this, and it is so delightful. Let's move further. Let's have the last color, verde gris, and the actual pattern name is torcorn, and it is referenced to the golden spiral of Fibonacci and the harmonious form of nature. Let's analyze it a little bit closer. This pattern, this undulating spiral pattern, which is repetitive, it is very finely carved into the material, and it is buffed on top. So let's recap. We have iris blue available in rose gold trim, silver trim. Then we have indigo in rose gold and ruthenium, and then we have also rose gold and ruthenium available in verde gris. The entire Art of Guilloche collection, it is using as a base model the Momento Grande 2.0. This is very familiar to most of you. It is an oversized version pen from Leonardo Officina Italiana. It is having an ink window, and its shape, it's something like this with small alteration that we're going to see very close in just a few moments. Starting with the finial, which, as with all Leonardo Officina Italiana 2.0 Momento Grande, pointy and conical. Then we're going to continue with clip, which is basically the same clip in most of the Leonardo Officina Italiana lineup. It is practical, it is springy, and it has this small little wheel right here. The shape of the cap, it's starting to pick up in girth from this point, and around here is the girthiest point. Right here we have the cap ring configuration, which is composed of 3 individual rings. This is something which takes us back to early beginning of the Momento Grande series. Then we have this 2-step down connection with the barrel, again from the past Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Grande series. On the cap we can see a very nice display of the guilloche technique carved into the resin. The small little rings right here are not carved, and also this transitional part right here is not carved. The same detail is valid also for the verde gris. This one right here, iris blue, and have a look at the undulating wave pattern of the guilloche technique. Let's uncap the fountain pen, and we have one complete turn of the cap. This is very easy if you want to take quick notes, and we are greeted by the nib. This is the steel La Fenice nib, which is plated like the entire trims of the fountain pen. In our case, this is ruthenium plated. It's a very elegant and beautiful nib. We have the stamped motif of the La Fenice nibs, with the wings, with every single detail, the lines and everything. For the steel nibs, we have the following sizes available: extra fine, fine, medium, broad, and a 1.5mm stub. And also we have 2 options: elastic fine and elastic extra fine. The steel nibs come with this ABS plastic feeder, and both the nib and the feeder are friction fitted inside a housing, and the housing is detachable. So have a look at this. It comes off, it can be taken out if you want to clean the fountain pen, if you want to make sure that you are going to access the inside of the fountain pen. It's very easy with a steel nib. This entire collection, it is offered also with gold nibs that are powered by ebonite feeders. For those gold nibs, our 14-karat La Fenice nibs, size 6 only, are available in extra fine, fine, medium, broad, and a 1.1mm stub in 2 elastic options: elastic fine and elastic extra fine. This is a very highly customizable collection from Leonardo Officina Italiana. Depending on which nib you choose for this collection, you're gonna have different price points. For the steel nib option fountain pens, the pricing is 260 euros, no VAT. For the gold nib option, the same fountain pen, the same features, 416 euros, no VAT, no taxes. And let's continue with the ergonomics. The fountain pen is very, very comfortable. We have this section which is not hourglass, it is one piece. It goes from a slightly thicker diameter right here, trims down a little bit, and right here we have this beveled edge. On the section of each of the Art of Guilloche right here, you're gonna find Leonardo, Italy engraved. This is a fountain pen which feels great in use and great in gripping, and using it for extended periods of writing, I found it to be very, very comfortable. It is not too weighty, but again, don't forget this is an oversized fountain pen. Let's continue further. Then here we have the capping threads. Those are polished very, very well. Then we have an ink window spaced in between two metal rings, one smaller right here and a step up with a larger ring right here. This is not sharp, nothing whatsoever. The fountain pen feels wonderful. Having an ink window, it's a joy. It helps a lot, and I'm a huge fan of ink windows. You can see the color of the ink that you have inside. If you forgot, if you want to see the ink level, like I have a little bit more left, or I have none, or the fountain pen is full, you can see inside. Also, you can see the state of the piston. When you bring the piston all the way down, you can see visually if it's greased, if it's okay, if it's moving. I just like to see this inside part available through the ink window. The barrel runs pretty straight from this point right here, which is the thickest point where it meets the cap, starts to trim down all the way up to this ring right here, which is again plated like the entire trims of the fountain pen. Then we have the piston knob. Turning it, you access the piston filling mechanism. On the Art of Guilloche Leonardo of Italiana, it is using their in-house made piston filling mechanism with a huge ink volume. I believe it's 1.5 or 1.9 milliliters of ink. It is a huge ink volume. If we look closer right here, we're gonna see the latches which allow you to remove the entire piston assembly using the Leonardo piston tool. You can find this piston tool for sale on the PenVenture website, and it is machined from stainless steel. It is very handy, and I believe it's a wonderful addition if you own Leonardo of Italiana piston fountain pens. You have to have one of this. What I almost forgot regarding this specific collection is the nature of the material itself. What Leonardo of Italiana used, it's a PMMA resin. This material, it's a little bit different than what you are expecting from something like primary manipulation resin, so they feel a little bit different. First of all, it's visual. It's the aspect of the color. This is solid colors. This is something which is mixed, and one can very easy understand that when you have these colors which are actually floating, you have a material which is not that harsh. You have something which is a little bit softer to the touch. I cannot describe what I'm feeling, but this is a more mellow sound. If you were to do something the same with this PMMA resin, it's a little bit more brittle. It's more I don't know, it's different. It feels different in your hand. It's more solid, it's more dense, to say so, and it's a little bit different, and I like this. Let's see how it looks next to other fountain pens, and then we're gonna go into a writing sample. And here we have the Art of Guilloche next to a Pelikan M1000, Momento Magico, Conid king size bulk filler, Visconti Homo sapiens, Earth Fire, Casado, Kakari. And here we have a look uncapped, the same fountain pens. We can clearly see that the Momento Zero Grande, it's an oversized pen, but it is shorter than a Conid, close to a Momento Magico. It is slightly under a Pelikan M1000, and it's slightly above a Kakari. Capped, the fountain pen measures 151 millimeters. Uncapped in writing position, it's measuring 134 millimeters. Capped, it is weighing 29.7 grams, and uncapped in writing position 19.5 grams. And now for the writing sample. And just as an exercise with everyone watching right now, I'm not going to cut, I'm not going to edit this specific part. You can see that I have a fountain pen which is not inked, not checked, nothing whatsoever. You don't see any ink on my fingers. This is how it came from Leonardo of Italiana. and we're gonna test this, and even myself, I don't know how it will go. But let's check to see a stock nib, steel nib, fine point. I have trust in Leonardo of Italiana. I know that they put a lot of effort in their nibs and what they showcase and bring to every single customer of ours and you watching right now. So I'm gonna dip in Leonardo black, and I'm gonna go straight to the paper one time. Let's go. And pen, Leonardo, Art of Guilloche, and ink, Leonardo black. Paper, we are on a Rhodia dot pad. Why? Why? Because I believe having something like Rhodia, which is more universal paper available, it's going to be far beneficial in order for me to relate to all of you at home what you can feel when you use such a fountain pen on a paper like this. And let's see as wetness. So we're gonna expect that this nib is not going to have the same exact ink flow like you see right now, because this is just dipped into ink, but I believe it's going to be moderate wet, a little bit undertone to what you see right here on this specific sample. Now normal figure of eights. This is a fine point, but it is a slightly fatter point. Now flex, I wouldn't say this is a flex nib, nor you should treat it like one, so don't press too hard. You can bend the nib and you can squeeze some line variation. This is just from the ink which is pulling down, so be very careful on that. Now let's have a look at the famous sentence, and on this one I believe we're just simply running on the true ink flow of the nib, because we have it dipped right here at the beginning of our sample, and now we are on this, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. A stunning nib. There is some feedback, but it is your pleasant feedback, a little bit as it's just simply gliding into the paper. You can actually feel that specific feedback, and there is a lot of smoothness. There is no sharp corners, there is no line which is capturing the paper. It's very delightful. It is a nib which I am very confident to send out without having to putting it under a microscope and checking everything. No, I can say for sure that I trust Leonardo of Italiana, because this is what you get out of the box with the stock nib steel Art of Guilloche Momento Grande 2.0. Now it is time for my personal opinions regarding this specific collection. Whenever I see Leonardo of Italiana making steps into something new, something interesting, I'm a huge supporter of that. And the way that we showcase our selection of writing instruments is very important, and I believe this is an underrated fountain pen series, fountain pen collection. This Art of Guilloche brings a lot of attributes which makes it a great addition to your collection, because it's combining a different perspective of color from Leonardo of Italiana. Now you have something solid, something pastel with the lineup of colors. Now you have an added technique, guilloche, and guilloche, it's not easy to do as a technique on a fountain pen, because the fountain pen itself as a shape. Have a look at this. This is curved like this, and this is curved like this, and the cap is different like this. Each individual part, like the piston knob, like the barrel, like the most of the cap, it needs to be put individually by hand, each part into a machine, carving into the material the repetitive pattern, and this takes time. Imagine doing something like a few hundreds of this fountain pens. It's gonna take months until you're gonna have them ready, buffed, looking perfectly. So kudos to Leonardo of Italiana for putting together not only a different perspective of color for all of its users, its lovers of writing instruments. Now you have guilloche as a technique on this collection. The entire collection, it is not numbered, it is not limited, but I believe it's going to be limited production. This material and this series will be made into batches, and I believe once there will not be such huge demand for this specific batch, it's going to be discontinued like for other collections in the past from Leonardo Officina Italiana. I like that the collection has a different price point if you want it with a steel nib, which again, it is a great nib. Ink window, Leonardo piston, which is detachable with the tool, unscrewable nib unit for the steel nib fountain pens. Great features. I believe you're gonna get a ton of value with this specific purchase. What do I think should be a little bit different than the fact that we have this different on each specific fountain pen? This engraving can be like this on the top, can be like this slightly under, can be like this directly lateral, or can be like this on the opposite side. And this is for the steel nib fountain pens because you have to screw in the nib unit, so it's going to be just falling random at which point you will have it. It's going to be there, you cannot change that. For the ebonite feeders and the gold nibs, it's going to be okay because you can turn the nib, or I can turn it as a retailer before sending it to your way, and I can align it in a different way. For the steel nibs, it's going to be random as where it is. Pretty much this is what I have for you in regards of the Art of Guilloche. Let me know if you have any other questions regarding this collection. Use the comment section down below and I'll be more than happy to answer all of your questions. The entire collection in steel nib, it's available at PenVenture in our inventory. If you want something with a gold nib, we can order it and it's going to be here in a matter of a week plus or minus after you placed your order with us. Thank you very much for sticking around with me on this video. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll find the link for the entire collection, and also down you'll find the details for our website, our social media accounts, phone number, email, anything and everything that you may need in order to get in contact with us. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. This will help us a lot with the YouTube algorithm and everything else. Consider helping us to grow the PenVenture YouTube channel. It's very easy to subscribe right now. Just click there, turn on notification bell on, and you will be notified whenever we have new content. If you want to see some previous content of ours, you can click here and enjoy. As always, I'm your host from PenVenture. I look forward to seeing you next video. Take care, stay safe, bye.